So this is part 2 of how to make a granny square. So we've done the very start. I don't want to make these videos too long because it puts people off and you get bored and people switch off after about 10 or 15 minutes of watching videos. I know that I do that, and so do most human beings. Right, so you have got your circle. If you watch the first video, it's been basically, it was a line of chains. You've joined it together to make a circle. This tail, you're just going to try and ignore this and hold it out the way, and you've got your wool here. Right, now you're going to want to do another couple of chains just to build up, so to make your stitch, because your stitches are going to be like this. And I'll just explain to you what I'm doing for the very first round of our granny square, which is really exciting. You've got a circle, which is this, and then you're going to be doing, now it varies, right? So you get all different variations, granny squares. This is the way I do it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. This is the way I do it. You're going to have, I'm going to use the US American terminology for crochet here because it's the most commonly used and I think it's the least confusing. There is UK or English terminology, and even though I'm based in the UK, I just always use American US terminology because it's easier. So double crochet is the name of the stitch. So there's two things that you need to know how to make a granny square. One is how to do chains, which you already know, and the other one is this that I'm going to show you now, how to do a double crochet. And that's you. Once you know how to do this, by the way, you're completely set, because most things that you're going to crochet is going to be, most, not all, but most will either be a stitch called single crochet, a stitch called double crochet, and chains. And then you've got a whole range of other stitches and you can get complicated and all the rest of it. But most things, if you know how to do single crochet, double crochet, and chains, you can actually do quite a lot with just that. Quite a lot of all different things, hats, scarves, blankets, teddy bears, you name it. Amigurumi, anything. Same as any hobby, you can get all fancy and complicated, or you can still make something really pretty decent out of simple stitches. So this is why it's important to learn how to do this, because you'll learn so many skills out of doing this granny square that you can use for so many other things. Right, back to the thing. I was explaining what we're going to do. So you're going to have your circle, and then into your circle, I'm actually going to get a bit of paper and draw it on a diagram to make it easier. Right, this is your circle of chains, and into that, the way I do it anyways, we're going to have 3 double crochet stitches, 3 on this side, 3 on this side, and 3 on this side. And I'll show you how to do them obviously in a minute. And in between, I'm going to do 3 chains. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. That is going to be round 1. I should have done it up here or something, but we can use the paper. So that's round 1. So I'll show you how to do round 1. So we're going to have 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets into the circle, 3 chains, 3 double crochets, 3 chains, like that. And then we'll join the bit at the end. So let's go. We'll do round 1. So we'll try and tuck this in. If you can't tuck it in neatly, you'll learn how to tuck it in neatly as you get more experienced. But if you don't worry, because later on you can get your wool needle and sew it all the way into your heart's content. So we're not bothered about that looking neat just now. But we're going into, keep this in front of us, into here. Right, I want to build it up a little bit because that's just sitting flush against the circle. So I'm going to do a chain, and you know how to do a chain from the first video. I'm actually going to do 2 chains because we want to have 3 like that. So I'm going to do that. So let's take that back again. We had literally just joined our circle here with our hook through it, and I'm going to do 1, 2 chains, and that is going to be It's going to count as our first kind of stitch here. Okay. And now we're going to do the second one. And this is really your first double crochet. So get excited because you're learning how to do, you're learning to crochet. You should get excited. Just put your hook into there. I'm going to capture that wee tail at the back. You're putting, so it looks like this. You're putting your wool over, pulling it through that top bit. I'll do that again. That's half your stitch done, by the way. Oops. Because it's a double crochet. We're putting our wool over here like this, so that we've got the initial hoop. We're putting that over. We're going in. So we've actually got 3 here. We've got the initial stitch. We've got the wool that's wrapped round, and we're sticking it in here to do our very first one. I'll show you again. Doing everything 3 times here. Put your wool round. Put it in. Just try and capture that at the back of it so that we can trap it in. And put your wool round again. And each time you put your wool around, it's because you're going to pull that through. Pull that through. I'll do that another 2 times. So we've got our wool. We're going in. We're putting our wool over. And we're pulling it through. I'll do it another 1 time. Back to here. Put that round. Put it in. And just capture that little bit there because we're going to go over it. The initial stitch, the wool that you've just wrapped around, you've just put that into here, and I'm holding that little tail over here because we want to trap it inside. Now I'm putting the wool over, and I'm pulling it through just the top bit, the bit that you've just put in, and you've trapped the little tail underneath. So this is what you're at. So this is super important. This is the wool here. Take your time and get this right. It's difficult the first time you've done it, but make sure you get this right. Stage 2 is put the wool around again, and you're pulling through 2, the top 2, like that. You're nearly finished. Now you're going to put the wool round and pull it through the last 2, and you've done your first ever one. Now that looks like 2. I had done the initial couple of chains to make that stand up for the first one, just because it's the very start of your granny square. We've done our first, so that's 2 like that. I'm going to do that 1 more time for you, just 1 more time, the whole stitch. So that's the circle with our little chains on it. We're wrapping the wool round like that, so we've got those 2 on it. We're putting the hook into the circle and just trapping that little tail over here so we can trap it underneath. We're wrapping the wool round like this, pulling it through just that top bit. So we've got those 3 on there. We're putting the wool round. We're pulling it through the top 2. So we've got 2 on there. We're wrapping the wool round, and then we're pulling it through, and that's what it looks like. I've just pulled that little tail tighter. So we've got the very first one, if I stretch it out, and then that's a double crochet stitch. So we're going to do the same again. So see if you can remember without me, but if not, here we go. Wool round. You're going into the circle, and again, just have that sitting over there so you can trap it. You see that we're going into the circle. Whoops, I'll get some more wool out here. So we've got that like that. Wool over, pull it through the top bit. So it looks like that. Wool over, pull it through these 2. Then wool over and pull it through these 2. And there we go. That's what it looks like. So you've got your circle with now 3 stitches in there. Technically 2 and some chains. I'm going to call it 3. So that's the very first bit. And after that, everything just gets easier and easier and easier. So go along with me. So this is 3 chains, and you already know how to do the chains. Easy peasy by now. wool over, pull it through. There's one. Wool over, pull it through. There's two. And wool over and pull it through. There's three. And that's what it looks like. So you've got your 3 stitches, technically 2 and some chains to make it look like a stitch, just to start it off. 3 chains. Again, some people just do 2 chains, some people might do more. I do 3. It's a personal choice. You can do it the way I do it, and then you can change your mind if you want to. So we're just doing the exact same. I'm going to squash these 3 all together, and that's your first cluster of stitches, and that's the top of your square for round 1. So we're just going to do the exact same thing again, and we're going to have 4 of these to make the very first round of your square. So you're putting your wool over, you're going in to the circle. It'll get tighter and tighter, by the way, because you're going to be filling it up with all these stitches, but that's fine. Put it in with that bit of wool there, because you're going to, the tail, you're going to trap it. So you're doing your wool over, pull the top bit through, put the wool over, pull the top 2 through, put the wool over, and pull these 2 through. And that's what it looks like. And that's you've actually just made a corner there. Can you see that? So you've got one side, a corner. Now you're going to do this another 2 times. Wool over, go into the circle. It's getting tighter now because it's getting filled up. Wool over, pull it through, like that. Wool over again. Take it through like this. And wool over. And take it through like that. Now you've got 2 on that side. Wool over, and again. Pull it through. Actually got 2. Ignore that last bit. Actually got 2. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Pull it through like that, and then finish it off. So there we go. We've now got 2 sides. So we've done that bit. We've done them. That's us done our second side. Now we're going on to 3. And I don't know if this is the official way. I know that there is an official way that you can write out using symbols, crochet things. This is just my way to demonstrate it to you. So please don't make any comments about, oh, that's not technically the official way that you draw the diagrams, because there is a thing called crochet diagrams. And you can look for that actually. You can look it up online, crochet diagrams for patterns to make it easier. Some people use them, I don't bother. I've never bothered with it, but I've seen them, and I don't know what the official symbols are, but this is just my way of doing it. Right, so now we're going to do 3 chains to make our next corner. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we've got one side, one corner, another side. We've done the chains that are going to form the next corner, and we're going to do the same again. Now we're on to these ones at the bottom. Wool over. Go in again to the circle in the middle, trap the tail under it. I'm going to pull out more wool. And we're going to do another double crochet stitch. So another double crochet stitch is wool over. Insert your hook into whatever it is you're doing with that stitch. Wool over, pull it through the top bit. So you've got the 3 like that. Wool over, pull it through that, and wool over and pull it through that. That's 1. Going to do another 2, wool over, into the center, wool over, pull it through like that, wool over, pull it through like that, and wool over and pull it through like that. That's just got 2. See, it's starting to form, and we'll do another one. I'm going to pull out more wool. Wool over, and we're going in for our 3rd double crochet stitch. And we go wool over, pull it through, wool over, pull it through, and wool over and pull it through again. So that's just got 3 sides now. Woo! Go girlfriends. And now we're going to do another 3 chains. So that's the top, bottom thingy, like that. I'll turn it around to make it clearer. You know what I'm talking about. Whoops. That's what we've got. 1, 2, 3, whatever way about you want. We're going to do another 3 chains to make the next corner. 1, 2, and 3. So whatever way you look at it. There we go. And can you guess what we're going to do next? Another 3, and that'll be the fourth side. Another 3 double crochets. So off we go. Los geht's. So they say in Germany, los geht's. Off we go. Into the circle. Wool over, pull it through. Wool over, pull it through, and wool over and pull it through. Again, for the second one, wool over, into the circle, wool over, pull it through like that, wool over, pull it through, and wool over and pull it through. We've got 2. Now we're going to go for the last one. Wool over, into the circle, wool over again and pull it through, wool over, pull it through, and wool over, and finish off that third one. Woohoo! Go girlfriend. So there we've got the 4 sides, and now we've just got these little last 3 chains to do. So we're going to do, and you can see that that little bit of wool has been getting, this is what it looks like on the back, by the way. Ta-da! So that little bit of wool, we've been trapping that underneath when we've been putting our hook in, because it helps to keep it more secure. You don't need to do that. If you've not done that, it's not the end of the world. You can practice doing it with or without that, because either way, at the end of whatever it is you're making, you're just going to put that through a wool needle and sew it through and secure, sew it through at the back and secure it off whatever way you want. So just ignore that now. So we're going to do our last 3 chains. 1, which you're an expert at by now, 2, and 3. And now we're going to join this to here, like that, to finish off the square. And it's actually easier than you would think. And again, it'll be difficult the first time you've done it because you've just never done it before and nobody's told you how to do it. And once you've done this a few times, you're totally sorted, because this is all the most basic skills that you need to know how to crochet anything at all, from amigurumis, teddy bears, to blankets, to hats or scarves, tops, bags, you name it. You have just learned some of the most important things you're going to have to ever learn. So now to join this together. Right, look at this. I should have probably chosen a lighter colour of wool. We've basically got, remember I said at the beginning on the first video that it looks like little plaits almost, your stitches, like a little, you can see that shape. So each one of them that looks like this. I'm going to draw it out because I find it useful to draw it. Each one of them is like a stitch. Looks like the chains that you were making. Let's see, because this is chains here. The chains, right? So each one of them, you are basically, because I didn't really see this explained properly when I was learning how to do it, I had to kind of guess this. You're putting your crochet hook into the top of that bit there to join it. Now, on here, you can just imagine it's going to be 3 bits like that at the top of the 3 stitches. If you see that there. So each of the 3 stitches are going to have that at the tops. You can see that there. 1, 2. This one's not as well defined because it wasn't an actual proper stitch. It was just a row of chains. But I'll show you. I'll pull this out so it doesn't get lost. You'll see that there. At the top of each of these 3 stitches, you've got that 1, 2, and 3. And then obviously your chains in the middle. Here again, at the top of each 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. I need to make that really obvious because it's not obvious for people who are new. Right, so you're putting your hook into the top bit of that. Now, it's a wee bit more difficult to see with this one, but it's not impossible because that was just a row of chains. It wasn't a proper stitch. But that, and it's always another thing that I've not really heard people explaining, it's always slightly to the right. So if this is your row of 3 stitches, it's the bit that's in the middle, because people are like that, oh, what bit are we putting into the left or the right? It's always slightly to the right of that. See this here? This is your 3 stitches. If I separate them out a bit more, if I pull them apart a wee bit more, that's your stitch, and it's slightly to the right. Because again, you don't always get that explained properly in YouTube videos, and I'm explaining it to you now because it's important. That little pleated bit, I'm calling it a pleated bit because it's a bit like a pleat in somebody's hair. You've got your line, your row with the stitches, and then it's there. And that belongs to that. Not this one that comes after it, because as you know, that was part of this wee row of chains. It's the one that comes just before it. Again, this little stitch here, I'm separating them out a wee bit. You've got your row there, and that little pleated bit comes just to the right hand side of it. Now obviously this video is for right-handed people like me. Apologies that I'm not doing one for left-handed people because I don't know how to left-hand crochet. You're better off watching one from somebody that knows how to left-hand crochet, so I do apologise about that. I'm only doing it for right-handed because it's what I know how to do. I wouldn't want to tell anyone anything wrong. And again, so here, that first stitch in the little thing, you've got the row, and then it's just slightly to the right of that, and then you've got your chains. So when I'm going in here, that's super important. Don't think it's, so for example, don't think, oh, there's a stitch. Is it that one? No, it's the one that's slightly to the right. Anyway, here we've got the 3. That one's just slightly to the right of that. That's just to the slightly to the right of that. So I'm going to take this one here, and like I said, we're going into that top bit. So I'm going to put this back on here. I had made it bigger there just so that I didn't lose the stitch. I'm going to tighten it back up again. And I'm taking my hook, and I'm going in to that top bit there. Right, and this is super important. Another massive skill that you're going to have under your belt. Put the wool over, like that, and pull it through the loop you just put your hook into, and the one that was already there. Whoops. There we go. And that is you joined. Woohoo! You've done the first round of a granny square. Go girlfriends. Okay, or boyfriends. Right. So I'm going to do that again. Haven't explained what we're doing. I'm just going to gently pull that out. That's our last 3 chains. I'm going in just to what would be the right of that. The top bit, not the bottom bit. Now some people, you might see people on some videos just going through both of these, putting their hook underneath both of them. That's fine as well, you can do that. I'm just showing you the way that I know how to do it, the way that I prefer to do it. I'll show you what I mean by that. Into underneath both of them, you could, and pull your wool through. Whoops. You could do that if you wanted to, but I like to do it this way. So you can, it's up to you, you choose. Okay, so I'm going into that. This is how to join your granny square. I've went in there. You've got your original stitch on there at the top of that last chain, row of chains. You're going into the beginning of that row, which is essentially that bit there. Put your wool round once and pull it through the both of them. There you go. You have got, and you can pull that tight, actually, good point. You can pull your tail tight and it'll tighten all of that up in the middle. And that is you got your very first round of a granny square. So I'm going to leave this video for now, and we're going to do round 2 in the next video. I know that this is quite a long video for people to watch when they're just new and things, but I want to explain things out as thoroughly as possible because I know how confusing things can be when they're brand new. And I don't, there's nothing worse than you get all excited, you want to start a new hobby. I've been there, I've got multiple hobbies, I can promise you on that, all different kinds of things. And you get all frustrated at the beginning because you're like that. I feel thick, I feel stupid, why am I not getting this? That's like everybody that doesn't get it to start with thinks that. Don't feel bad if you think that. It's just normal to think that at the beginning. Because it's all new, might not be all new, but if it is all new, the chances are you're going to struggle with it a bit more than somebody that's not totally new for. That's the way the world works. Stick with it. I wanted to explain it all out in as much detail as possible to give you the best chance, and you're just taking this one step at a time. I always say to people when they're starting off learning doing something like this, get it in your head what you want to end up making, right? If you want to end up making crochet jumpers or the famous Taylor Swift crochet dress that's going about right now all over the internet that everybody's making in the exact same colours. If it was me, I would choose this colour to make it out of, because I love this colour. Or make it out of your own colours, at least put some originality into it. I'm sure there probably is some people making their own versions as well. Or it could be amigurumis, whatever it is that you want to end up making. Amigurumis, for anyone that's not heard of that, that's the Japanese word for like the little soft toys. Basically means little soft toys that are crocheted. It could be teddy bears, it could be wee dolls, it could be anything basically, little bumblebees, whatever. It could be bags. There's a lot of cool. One of the things that I first made that I really, really wanted to make was a poncho, because I live in a cold country. You can tell from my accent, probably. If not, put in the comments below what country you think I'm from, and I'll tell you if you're right or not, okay? There's a big massive clue. It's a cold country. It's one of the coldest countries in the whole world, okay? It's one that we don't really get what you could call summer. That's a big massive clue. If you don't already know the answer, comment below. But basically, yeah, you decide what you want to do and have it in the back of your head, and even go and print out the patterns for it. You can go on, there's a site called Ravelry. You can get patterns from all over the place, Etsy, you name it. You can go on loads of the Facebook groups. Decide what you want to do and have it in the back of your head, because that'll motivate you. But there's nothing worse, in a way, than you're all excited and all motivated to do your new crochet, and you really want to make all these things, but you just can't get past the basic. Take your time. If it takes you a whole week to learn how to do this granny square, hopefully it won't the way I'm explaining it. So give me a compliment if I'm explaining it well. Tell me in the comments below. Give me a wee thumbs up or whatever. I want to explain things well, because the reason why is because I love this hobby, and I don't want people to, like, I know it happens with knitting more often than crocheting, because it's much more complicated to do. People really, really want to do it. They try and learn, and then they just get so confused and frustrated, and they feel a bit stupid because they're like, that, how come I can't do this and everybody else can do it? And it just puts a bad taste in their mouth, and they're like, that, right, I'm not doing this ever again because it's just annoyed me. Don't think that way about this. I want it to be simple and easy, but take your time. And what I always say is, learn each step thoroughly before you move on to the next step. So don't do anything else until you know how to do this. So my first video, where I showed you how to put the wool on the hook and do your first chain, practice that as many times as you need to. And only once you've got that right, move on to stage 2, which is doing your first round of your granny square. You can undo this. I'm not going to undo this just now, because I quite like this little square. I'm quite proud of it. I love it. It's a little cutie. But if you're not quite happy with your square, unravel it, take all the wheel out, and start again. And keep doing it until you're happy with it. And even if it's not 100% perfect, who cares? It's not going to be 100% perfect when you're new at something. But get it to the stage where you feel quite confident doing it. Practice that first bit over and over until you feel confident doing it. Right, I'm going to wind this video up now. I don't want to make these videos too long. Once you feel confident doing that, the rest is easy peasy lemon squeezy. The rest is super easy. But again, if you've never done it before, don't feel bad if it's difficult, because everything's difficult, like I said. When you start doing anything for the first time, when I get a new phone and I don't know how to work my new phone, I get super frustrated and I get super annoyed. Anything that's new to you, it's just going to be frustrating and annoying until you know what you're doing. So anyway, but what I mean by that is you already know the basics. All the other rounds on your granny square are these double crochet stitches and these chains and joining it together. So you'll see what I mean. You will find it easy. Right, let's move on to video 3.